So on this live session, I'm just going to be taking questions and answers and general chit chat from anybody who decides to come on. And Lily here is going to answer all your questions and any concerns you may have because she's the moderator. Yep. I'm live. Hello, Vernice. How are you? Where are you at? Are you in are you still abroad? Good. I'm glad to hear it. God bless you. Thanks for all your support. Singapore. How long are you going to be in Singapore? For 2 years or 1 year? Seven months. Wow. So do you have a family here in the Philippines or are you single? Do you have kids here that you work for? Ah, single and ready to mingle. That's good. So what time is it in Singapore? Is it nighttime or daytime? It's probably the same, right, as the Philippines, mostly. Same time, yeah. Yeah, I saw some of your uploads when you first went back to Singapore, and it looked like a beautiful place. Hindi, no Tagalog. I learned a little bit of Tagalog before, but where I'm at now, they speak Bisaya. So I'm trying to learn Bisaya, but I'm not very good at it. I use a lot of the Google Translator. No, I'm not good at either one. I'm just being honest. I'm not very good at Tagalog or Bisaya. Yeah, I'm in Cebu, outside of Cebu City, about 10 minutes away from Cebu City. Yeah, I like it here in my location. I just did a walkthrough of the area, and it was it showed like there's my kitty. Oh yeah, thank you. I reached the sub count, but I still need hours. I need more watch hours before I can get monetized. But thank you very much. Oh yeah. Well, as foreigners, we can't work here in the Philippines, so it's it gives me something to do, and hopefully when I do get monetized, then I can, make some money doing this. I don't know. We'll see. So yeah, I enjoy it. Vlogging is a good, keeps my mind busy, gives me things to do. Um, it's fun. Exactly. How long have you been vlogging for? Are you monetized? There's a mosquito eating me right there. Thanks. Thank you. How come you're tired of your channel? Just no content or? Oh, nice. That's good. So you get a little bit of extra money from that. What do you do over there? What's your job? I think you told me, but I'm sorry, I don't remember. Eating grapes. Hey, what's up, Majo? Yeah, yeah, I got just barely over 100 also. So, it's a milestone. We're small YouTubers, but you celebrate the small stuff, right? Make it to 1 million. Okay, Vernice, I'll make it to 1 million. I'm not really that interesting, so I'd be lucky to get 5K. You never know what's going to happen. So tell me, is my connection good or is it lagging? Yeah, I'm super interesting. Yeah, my age with all my boring rants. It's going good? Okay. Because I looked at our live stream that we did together and there was some laggy stuff. And then the last live stream that I did, it's also kind of laggy, but it was raining both of those times. So maybe the weather is helping. I don't know. So we just got two of our favorite vloggers, my favorite vloggers here, Vernice Moments and Majo Travel. Vernice, if you haven't checked her channel out yet, she does some cool stuff. She's a good singer and she sings a lot. And Majo, he tours around Columba, and he does a lot of like food stuff and some history stuff. So check those guys out. They're really nice people, and doing good things on YouTube. So we appreciate that. Yeah, that was fun when we went live together. We have to do that again sometime soon. You and Majo are subs to each other. See, we all sub to each other, and that's what's good, you know. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but there's wars going on against like Every Man Has a Story and World Zoom, and then Sunshine Shoulders is having problems with Mike's Philippine Journey, and they're having videos back and forth and stuff. But so far, we all just kind of support each other, which is great. Together we will rise. You got that right, sister. We can make it. More support and show some love. That's right. So Vernice, I don't know if you know, but Majo knows. I've started a page on Facebook, and you can promote your channel there if you want, and jump into the discussions too. And you can link that up from my Facebook page, which is also called Philippines Extremes. So check that out if you want to post videos or links to your videos. You can do that there. Oh, you have a Facebook page too? Okay, I'll check that out. I'll have to follow it. But I'm going to, I told Majo this already, but I'm going to Dumaguete this coming Thursday. And Bernice Moments, but my profile is a motorbike. Okay, cool. After I get off of the live, I'll follow you. But you're shy to upload a pic on Facebook. Oh, come on. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. But so anyways, I'm going to Dumaguete, and I'm going to get interviewed by Every Man Has a Story, which I'm kind of nervous about. But, because I don't know really what to say about it. I've said everything on my channel already. Don't really have like an interesting past or stuff like that. So I don't really know what he's going to ask or what I'm going to say, but it'll be fun. I'll make some videos along the way, and then then I'll even make a video about that too. So we'll see. I think it might get me more exposure for the channel. So why not? Can't hurt. Plus, I'm going to go to a really cool place in the process too. I got a hotel there. It was 800 pesos a night. And I bought it on like one of those online things. So they bid, it's kind of like Priceline, but a different one, and it bids for the price, and you put in your own price. And then, so I got a good deal on a hotel there in Dumaguete for 2 nights. So we're going Thursday and Friday, and I think he's going to interview me either Friday afternoon or Saturday morning. So we'll see. Should be cool. Regardless, it'll be cool because this is the Philippines and I love it. So it's always nice to see other areas. I've never been there before, so. So I'll stay in the Philippines for good. I would love to, and in fact, I'm trying to see if I can figure out how to do that. I'm going to start teaching English to people all around the world, and maybe that will give me extra money in order to keep me here because my goal is to grow the YouTube channel until I can make a living from it. And so you know, we'll see how it goes. But if I run out of money, then of course I'll have to go back to the States and work for 3 months and then come back and then stay for like a year and then go back. But I'm hoping that that doesn't have to happen. So. Do, 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 do. Yeah, but of course I don't know his plan. So whatever his plan is, it may be for me to go back and work. But I'm really dreading it. Like it's coming up here where because I had only planned to be here for 6 months, and I've already been here that, and it's going longer than that. So um, I. I gotta, see what his will is, and if it's his will for me to, make enough money teaching English online and getting monetized on YouTube. Because if I could teach English online and get a little bit of money from YouTube, wouldn't have to be that much. Well, then I could stay and I wouldn't have to go. But um, otherwise, I'm gonna have to go back, and I can make pretty good money in 3 months, and that'll pay for my stay here for like a year. But I'm worried about like if I leave, what's that going to do to my progress on the YouTube? So I'm progressing pretty good on YouTube right now. So once you got the ball rolling, it's kind of not a good idea to stop it. So I'm not really looking forward to stopping the YouTube in the meantime. But if it has to be that way, it'll have to be that way. But yeah, I was initially planning on going back in August, and now I have enough to stay longer, but I'm hoping that I can supplement it to where I wouldn't even have to go back. So it's possible. I'm going to see how this teaching English thing online goes. You make $10 an hour, um, and you teach people from all over the world. So we'll see how it goes. I mean, I know $10 an hour is not very much, but it goes a long way here in the United States. And you are exactly right, Bernice. That's right. And I am. Every time, every day, pray for that. So we'll see, whatever the plan is, uh, that will be what my next move is. But still have time. Think, I'll get some subscribers from um, meeting with Every Man Has a Story and going on his channel. I don't think I'll blow up or anything, but I think that, it'll increase my exposure. So, you know, should be good, I would think. Although, I've looked at it and I'm kind of an analytical person. So I go through and I check out all the stats. That's why I was looking at Majo's view count, So I do that kind of stuff all the time. And I've looked at people that have went on Every Man Has a Stories channel, and I've seen, how some of the people that went on there, if they were super duper interesting, they got some pretty good activity from it. But then there's other people that went on there and they're still under 1,000. So, we'll see. Maybe I can hype it up and be really peppy and people will love me. Who knows? And you're right, Bernice, it sure does. So I'm always devoted to that. So it's just up to, his plan. And, I'm not in control of anything. So he's the one that's in control. So we'll see. Bug flying around. I came on late because a lot of my subscribers are from the States. So I figured, at least it'd be in their morning time. But actually, I was looking at it right before I came on. And in the last month, I've had more Filipino subscribers. So maybe they're already asleep. I don't know. But, I'm just rolling the dice and seeing what comes, Yeah, I'm nervous about the interview. I'm nervous, how it will go and how I'll look mostly because, and when you're filming yourself, you're in control of the angles and everything like that. But I'm looking forward to it, of course, but of course I have a little bit of nerves about it. I'm looking forward to going to Dumaguete because you can take a bus from Cebu, and you take the bus and it goes all the way from Cebu City to the end of the island of Cebu, and then the bus goes on a ferry. So you get on the ferry with the bus, and the ferry takes you across to Dumaguete. So I'll get to see the whole area, and I don't know, Dumaguete looks beautiful. So, and there's another channel that I'm going to be meeting with, and I might be interviewing them for my channel to give them kind of a boost because they're just starting out. But they're on the fence whether they want to be interviewed. But if they let me, I think that would be cool. So, it's exciting. Breaks up the monotony. Mothra. So we'll see. But yeah, I don't really have a theme of this live. I was hoping that some of my regulars would come on here and start asking questions. But otherwise, just kind of flying by the seat of my pants here, and I'm going with the flow. I know that I've been spending a lot of time on forums online lately because, what's great on YouTube is when you have a video that's getting a lot of views and you get a lot of comments, and that like really peps up your week, and you get a lot of activity and a lot of responses and stuff. But that hasn't happened to me for like several weeks. So, I got to do something with my mind. So I go on forums and groups, or forums online, like www.philippinesexpats. Or I joined some groups on Facebook. And, I talk to a lot of people, and a lot of people are just super negative. I got this guy in my neighborhood, and he stops me all the time. He's from Georgia, United States, or something like that. And the dude he hates it here. And I'm like, go home, man. Go home. No, I got kids and I can't leave them, But all he wants to do is complain. And if I like try to get one word in edgewise, it's, oh yeah, right back into it, Can't steer him away from anything. Can't get him to listen to me. And it's kind of the situation where you're trying to okay, have a good day, see you later. But there's just never a comfortable kind of break in order to do that because he's just motor mouth. But yeah, he's an expat and he's been here for, I think 11 years or something. And he's ex-military, and all he talks about is he can't wait because his pension hasn't kicked in. And I guess in 2 years his pension's going to kick in, and it's just blah blah blah. My pension when my pension kicks in, and these Filipinos, you can't trust these Filipinos. What happened? Something wrong, it says. Tap to retry. Oh, maybe my cord. Hold on. I don't know what's wrong. Everybody, am I connected? I don't know what just happened. So, it seemed like I lost connection or something. I'm not sure. For real though. So, yeah. And, there's also another group of expats that meet up here every Thursday in my barangay. And there's dudes from Australia and New Zealand and Germany and stuff. But all they do is drink and complain. So, I'm not into that scene. So I like to be around positive people who, are uplifting you and not trying to bring you down and convince you to fall into that trap of negative banter and dialogue. It's just, I have no interest in it, But I don't know. Where's all the people? Come on, people. Going live here. Yeah. Well, I don't know. So I guess I'll just start rambling. Speaking of veterans, I met one today, and first thing he asked me was if I want to drink with him. Oh yeah, same thing too on the forums. If somebody is in Cebu City, that's the very first thing they say is, "Want to have a beer?" And I don't drink beer, so it's kind of a standard question, icebreaker. But then again, I don't even drink coffee either, so it's like you got the alternative of drinking beer or having a cup of coffee, and I don't do either one. I'll drink a bottle of water. I'll maybe have a soft drink. But yeah, I have years and years and years in the Philippines, and I made videos about this, why I avoid expat. But when I went to the meet and greet for Sunshine Shoulders, that kind of changed my opinion. As a fellow veteran, I said, "Sorry, I don't drink, bro." Yeah. Well, that's good. I mean, maybe you could have had a cup of coffee or something like that, or like I said, soft drink. You have a glass of wine. Ooh, bad boy. Yeah, well, when I was in my 20s, my father and my grandfather, they were both in the military, and they also were big drinkers. My grandfather was a huge alcoholic for like the first 18 years of my dad's life, and very abusive. And but then he stopped drinking and he changed his life. And then my dad, was so messed up from the abuse that he received, he started to drink, and the cycle just kind of got perpetuated. And so when I was in my 20s, I was with a woman, and she got pregnant, and so I was fearing the same thing, and I didn't want to perpetuate that cycle. So when I would drink, I wouldn't get abusive, but I would do stupid, stupid things. My famous thing, I always wanted to know where my car keys were and let's go driving. So I would drive around drunk all the time and do dumb things. And I would like try to start arguments with people. And I don't know why they never kick my butt, because I was fall down drunk all the time, but it never happened. But alcohol and me just turned me into a kind of a crazy person. So I made the conscious decision to not drink for the benefit of my son. And so I just never drank. It's not to say I didn't do other things, but drinking was my nemesis. And so I stopped drinking for sure, because that was, I couldn't control like what would happen. I'd get to that one point where I'd have that one drink too many. Up until that certain point, I was fun, happy, everybody liked to be around me, but I had that one drink too many, and then look out, it's time to get in trouble. If you get bored, try chatting with an artificial intelligence. I wouldn't even know how to do that. That sounds kind of interesting, though. I wonder how you do that. How do you do that, James? It's funny. I just watched a interview with Elon Musk and Tucker Carlson, and the first 30 minutes of the interview, Elon was talking about how AI is just getting out of control, and soon he says, like in the next 3 or 4 years or something, it'll be unmanageable and AI will like take over the world or something. But I wouldn't mind at least checking it out, talk to a robot. If you ever saw Battlestar Galactica, the remake, that show was awesome. I don't watch TV anymore, but that was back when I was watching TV, and that remake of Battlestar Galactica was phenomenal. The Cylons were people, they were like covert people, and some of them didn't even know they were Cylons, and they had like programs in their head that kept them oblivious to the fact that they were Cylons. So I kind of picture it like that. Do you remember SM Seaside is the fourth largest mall from Philippines? Yes, in fact, somebody just told me that. You told me that, yeah. I remember that. Why? That came from an AI? You mean the comment or the information? Like, I assume that the information came from an AI. Or was that the comment? Are you a robot? What's going on? You're a robot? The information. Oh, darn it. I was hoping you were a robot. No. That'd be cool. But so you were talking to artificial intelligence. Now is there some kind of chat group that you go to talk to these artificial intelligence, or how did you talk to the AI? Man, these mosquitoes, they bite my feet. It's the worst. I'd be curious to see it. I mean, why not? It's the wave of the future, right? Artificial intelligence. Yes, sir. Well, yeah. So let's see here. What can I talk about? I know that the last few days have been just kind of go with the flow. My wife, she's 11 weeks pregnant, and today we went to try to go to get her an ultrasound. But we didn't have much success doing that because we didn't know where to go. And it turned out that by the time we actually got to a place, they had closed at 3, and it was already it's like 3:30 already once we found that place. So we didn't get any progress on that. But that's next on the agenda is getting her some health care on her pregnancy. Because, like I said, she's 11 weeks. So that's going to be, pretty amazing. I'm older person, and to have a kid, I mean, by the time that kid is graduating high school, I'll practically be 70. Pretty weird, right? But that's the cards. That's the path I was put on. When I first started talking to her, it was during COVID, and she told me that was one of her. If I told her that I didn't want a kid, then she wouldn't really want to be talking to me, and I didn't think that it would happen like so fast, or I wasn't really sure what would happen, but I just said, whatever God's plan is, and I guess that was God's plan. So yeah. So we'll see throughout that kind of progression in life. I'm looking forward to it. This relationship that I have now has a foundation surrounding, morals and everything. So that James says, I chat with Bing through Skype. Bing through Skype. Interesting. Well, I've never used Skype, but I suppose I could try it. And I don't know much about Bing or anything. I'm really kind of not very technologically savvy, I guess. I'm the kind of person that just doesn't really like to mess with my phone, because then I won't know how to use it anymore. And I have a laptop that I barely ever use, because the Windows on it is a different version than the laptop that I had before, and there's no mouse, so I have to use my fingers, to press down and then move my other finger, and it's so annoying. I don't like it, so I barely ever use that, and I just stick to the cell phone, because and whenever I get a new cell phone, that kind of sucks too, because then I have to learn it all, and I probably don't even know half the stuff I could do with this thing. But I just do as long as I can do my basic things, then I'm good. And I don't really need much, So Majo says, congratulations. I'm happy for the two of you. Well, thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, we're excited about it. It's funny, when we first started the channel, it was going to be like her and I doing most of the videos, but it just kind of turned out to be more me. I don't know if there's a reason for that. I know she's kind of shy. She hasn't really gotten experience with the cam, she's good at English, but she's not very talkative. So Bing can help you with tech stuff. So the robot can teach me how to use my laptop. Well, you know, that would be cool. So is that like free, or do you have to sign up for it? Is it a pay site? Skype is free, I think, right? I don't know what Bing is. I thought it was a search engine, but that's how out of the loop I am with it. This YouTube stuff is pretty basic, so it's not hard for me to navigate through. Because I've had a YouTube channel since the beginning of YouTube, and I used to have a mining channel, a gold mining channel, and I have a video on there that has 1.4 million views, and there's like 3-something thousand subscribers. It says it's scary when it asks me questions. Oh yeah, like what kind of questions does it ask you? Hello, JJ. He says, "Hello, my good friend. How's Mama doing? Hope she doesn't have mood swings. Some pregnant women have a lot of moods. Well, no, so far, she's just sleepier. Foods. She's real particular about what food she eats and doesn't eat. And it's like her eyes are bigger than her stomach too. We'll go somewhere and she'll order a bunch of food, but then she can't eat it. But she's 11 weeks pregnant, so still in the early stages. I told people earlier that we tried to go get an ultrasound, but the place was already closed. So before I go to Dumaguete, which I'm going to Dumaguete, JJ, on next Thursday. So I'm going to get interviewed by Every Man Has a Story in Dumaguete there. So that should be interesting. And so we're going to make videos along the way. We'll show people the bus ride and the ferry and the ocean scenery and stuff. So that'll be cool. So, and thank you. She's doing good, JJ. And hopefully it's going well for you too. JJ asks, what does she crave for? If it's salty foods, it can be a boy. Well, she always has salty foods. Like that's one thing about Filipinos is they cook with a ton of salt and a lot of oil. So, but she hasn't been able to eat or smell fried food. So if she gets a whiff of fried food, she's out. She don't want fried chicken. She doesn't want anything that's fried shrimp, nothing. So yeah, I'm not really sure. She eats a lot of snacks, like, well, in the Philippines, they sell little snacks like this, and she eats those. But then again, she doesn't like a meal that's got a sweet sauce on it. So I think it's more like salty foods, but again, it's all salty foods always been salty foods for her. So hard to tell. Yeah. JJ says, oh, wow, that will be hard to tell then. How do you feel? Are you excited? Yes, of course. I'm very excited. Before you signed on here, I was saying that I'm excited. The only thing that, and it's not a worry because I can always do it, but I'm hoping to be able to just stay here and not leave. My initial plan was to stay here until a certain point, and then go back and work for 3 months. And I'm trying to figure out ways that I can stay here and not have to go back and work for the 3 months, especially since she's had, she's going to be having a baby. So, yeah, I'm just trying to juggle all that, and I'm hoping to. I'm going to be teaching English online, like I was saying before you signed on here, and that'll make me a little bit of money, and then hopefully the YouTube being monetized will supplement it a little bit. And I have a rental property back in the States, but it's not paid off yet. So my tenant my tenant's kind of unreliable, so I can't really depend on that. And I kind of would like to go back there and kind of rein her in some, but if I can, swing it, I would like to just stay here and never ever go back to the States. I'm dreading it. In fact, if I have to go back to the States, it would be a nightmare. I don't want to do it at all. But, I would only have to do it one more time. I'd just go back for 3 months and then I'd be done with the States forever. So, if that's what the plan for me is, if that's the path if that's the will of the Father, then yeah. JJ asks, how does it work since the baby is born in the Philippines? Can he or she get dual? Yes, he or she can get dual citizenship. I've had friends that have been through that process. All you have to do, and I say all, it's pretty extensive. You have to get a DNA test. The father has to get a DNA test, and then the child has to get a DNA test, and then when that comes back a match, then they can get a U.S. passport, or wherever you're from. Like you, for instance, being from where you are, they would get a passport from your home country, for example. So yes, that's the advantage, and a huge leg up, for the offspring of a foreigner, is they suddenly have the ability to go to, a Western country if they so choose, which I hope they don't want to choose that unless things really change. But if they so choose to, they have the freedom to be able to do that. So that's great. And, a lot of this is, changing the lives of others. And, when you leave a legacy, like having a kid, maybe you won't be, maybe you won't live till you're 100, since I'm having a kid, late in life. But the ripple effect will spread for generations. So JJ says, one time is worthwhile to go sort your stuff in the USA. Best way is to do the things in person, and it's sorted the right way. Can't depend on other people to do things for you. Oh, definitely not. Definitely not. So, yeah, I probably would have to do it. I'm hoping that I don't have to, but should I have to, it would all be fine, and it would be the last hurrah. I wouldn't ever have to do it again. So that's not a huge hurdle. And more than likely, I'll probably have to do it. And but then scratch that off the list, and I'll never have to do it again. So yeah. I mean, I would go back and visit maybe, but never, hopefully, as a necessity, right? So that would be my desire, my hope, was to never have to be dependent on my ability to make money there. So hopefully I'll be able to, kind of angle in here. When you get to 13A, then you, as a foreigner, you can work here if you so choose to. But there's things you can do, other things to do here too. So we'll just see what doors open, and there's doors to be opened here. So yeah, there's a mosquito down there that keeps biting my feet. Hey, there's Elvis. Elvis has entered the building. What's the longest visa they give after you stayed there for a while? Well, you can get a permanent residence visa. I think they call it the SVR. I could be wrong about the words, but hey Elvis, you entered the building. Good to see you, bro. And hopefully you're getting geared up for your time here. The longest visa is you can get a permanent residency. You just have to have like 10,000, I think, in a bank account. It's verified. If you're ex-military, then it's a lot less. I think it's like 3,000. But of course, this is for U.S. I don't know about your home country, but and every country has different rules. The Philippines has different rules that apply to every other country too. So that the permanent residence visa is the longest. Otherwise, they have the Balak Bayan if you're married, and that one's free as long as you enter into the country with your wife. Okay, so what we're going to do is once we get, because we have to get her name changed, and we're having a heck of a time getting her a passport because the national ID that she applied for like a year ago has yet to arrive. So we got to, do all that stuff, go to government offices and get all the IDs and things so that we can get her a passport. So once she gets her passport, then all we have to do is we fly to like Singapore, for example, or Malaysia. And it doesn't matter how long we stay, but we stay for a little bit and then we fly back over here and I get a free visa for 1 year. So there's that. And then there's the other thing where you can continue to re-up your visa up to 3 years. But that's more expensive. So the Balak Bayan, if you're married to a Filipina, is free. So I'm liking the sound of that. And of course, it's not free technically if you factor in, your plane tickets and stuff, but it's like, $40 to fly to Malaysia. So between the two people, it's maybe $160 round trip, hotel, whatever it costs there, which is cheap. Come back here and visa for a year. So Saturn, hi. You just came in and you dropped a comment. Saturn 60 says, as far as working from the PH, I think a remote customer service job where they're looking to hire Americans could pay better than Cambly. You need a VPN and a US address on the application. I think a customer service. So like you mean like a call center, right? Something to that effect, doing something over the phone. Yeah, Cambly is actually exactly what I was thinking about doing. I signed up for it and everything. I didn't upload the greeting video yet, and they haven't approved me. But all I have to do is upload the video. I made it, and so then and just wait for clients. But remote customer service job where they're looking to hire Americans. Yeah, and I wouldn't have to do that forever. I would just do it for maybe a year, and then I'd be done. But unless it was like easy, like to fit into my schedule and stuff, then I might hang on to it. But otherwise, it would just be temporary. Whatever I do is just going to be temporary. So, call center, or when I book a doctor appointment, they have Americans on the phone scheduling for me. Oh, no kidding. Okay, yeah. Now I know I had a call center here in Cebu message me and asked me if I would be interested in working there, but it was like 10 hours a day and 30,000 pesos a month. So that would take all my time up, and then it wouldn't be like a vacation. It would be like working hard 10 hours a day, 6 days a week. 10 hours a day. So, okay, well, I'm not sure who to look into for that, but that's interesting. I'll definitely check that out. Saturn, thanks for the tip, man. I appreciate it. We shall see. But yeah, I mean, I think that, this is, it would be great to, not have to do any more effort in that regard. But, should I return back to the States, it'll just be briefly 3 months and then I would be done. Never have to do it again. So, but, like I said earlier, before a lot of you guys came on here, my one thing is my channel is progressing pretty good. And if I went back to the States and had a 3-month gap, I probably would lose my momentum. So not really interested in doing that, but if that's the breaks, that's the breaks, right? So, but yeah, thanks, Saturn. Appreciate it. That'd be great. We'll see. But, whatever is laid before me, I'm sure it's going to be, great. And it's going to be meant to be. I mean, my whole progression, I guess, I couldn't think of the word. I don't even know that's a great word, but the progress and the things that fell into place this time around when I came here or just fell in line like a key fitting into a lock. It was almost like every little step that I made was a sign. I need to go here, and I need to meet her and be with her, and it all just fell into place. So JJ says, see, the people is developing all over. Was thinking of getting excavators and rent it out. The ones the people hire keep on breaking. What do you think? Well, I don't know much about the dynamics of that, but I do know I see signs for excavators for rent here, so it's a viable business. But see, one of the things that I've seen over the years with foreigners that come here is they constantly have a business idea, and some of them are actually pretty good. But what happens is, like, maybe they do like a restaurant or something like that is filling a niche in the local area that nobody has done. But then without fail, somebody else will come along and plop the same business down right next to you and compete against you. And suddenly your profit margin just went in the pooper. And then it's not successful. I am of the mindset that most businesses tend to fail here when foreigners try to do them. And I don't mean to be a party pooper, because there are people that are very successful with their business endeavors here. So it depends. I would think if you're in a different area, if you're in an area where there aren't those, and it's like a budding area, it's a place that's sprouting up, then that might be phenomenal for you. It might be a good idea, JJ. But in a big city, you're going to have a lot of competition. That's what I would think. So if you go to a more rural area where they don't have access to those things, then the odds are you're going to have clients. You're going to have people that would rent from you for sure. So, these kind of industrious ideas, a lot of people, they do multiple things, like Q, for example. He does a bunch of things, and he makes a little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit here. And now, of course, his channel has exploded, so he's making enough just off of YouTube to where he doesn't have to really do any of those things. But he's still doing them, and he's making, good cash. So I think, if you've got the ability to throw things at the wall, and, to see if you throw things at the wall and see what sticks, well, then by all means, do that, as long as it's not going to break your bank. So, yeah. A really savvy businessman can do very well here, as long as they're savvy, and not just going at it willy-nilly. I know that people really, really need to be careful in that regard, though, because, the language barrier can really gum up the works. It can inhibit you. Get attorneys, to do any kind of large investment type stuff. Get an attorney, who you pay well, so that way he'll have your back. Definitely. I've seen too many guys go in it, the bro deals where, help me with this and let's start a motorcycle business, and there's no real recourse. Yeah, if you've got the knowledge and the know-how, bro, then that could be really viable and a successful thing for you, and just keep it to yourself. And you need to get here and pound these things out for yourself, because some things are untapped, and there are things that, like we have in our home countries that they don't have here. Like, those are the kind of things that can make you money until somebody else copies you, and if you're flexible, then you can, do other things too. Have a lot of fish in the fryer. Yeah. Just having a really savvy kind of business approach is paramount, for sure. A lot of guys come here and they think they're going to start a sorry store. Worst idea ever. Don't even bother. Don't try it. Unless you're in a tiny place and there aren't any, and even still. But do I know of any attorneys that is good and trustworthy? No, I don't, to be honest. Not here. But, do your due diligence. And, most of the attorneys here are going to be on the above board. A lot of them will be on above board. Everyone has a sorry story. Yeah. I mean, that's what people, it's like almost the number one business that expats tried to do. Elvis said everybody has a sorry story, and it's true. From before I came to the Philippines the first time, I was on a forum that I was getting my information from. This was, there was YouTubers, but there weren't very many, so I would frequent these forums, and one of them was called Living in Cebu. And I wasn't even planning on going to Cebu, but it was very, very active, and all the guys that lived everywhere around the country. So you'd get these newbies that would come on and they'd say, I'm going to the Philippines and my girlfriend and we're going to start a sorry store. And I don't know how many times I've heard, people doing that. And, it's not like you're going to lose a ton of money doing it. So it's not a huge investment, but it's just never really pans out, and it's not going to support you. Again, unless you are in an area where there aren't many and you're in a high traffic area. But then, that perfect kind of connection between those both things, high traffic area and not a lot of stores, that's kind of hard to find, but you can find it. You're not going to, more than likely, I hate to be negative because anything can work, given the right circumstances. But I've heard, I don't know, maybe 100 stories of guys that came here and did the sorry store. And they turned out to be sorry about doing it. Pun intended. Yeah, JJ says, don't want to be bound by business. That's not living. Your business must be self-sustainable. Exactly. I mean, you're coming here to escape the rat race. Most people are. So it's good to have like you're calling it passive income, to where you can make money and you're not putting in a ton of effort to get it. Maybe, employees or something, a real niche kind of thing that's just, you're filling a void, something like that. And, it's just hard to say. Hard to say what that is, But, where there's a will, there's a way. And I'm definitely not well versed in businesses. I've always been kind of a good salesman kind of stuff. I'll post remote. Saturn says, I'll post remote jobs YouTube playlist. The first vid talks about remote medical scheduling jobs. Great. Thank you, Saturn. Elvis asks, have you considered getting your TEFLA certification for teaching? Well, actually, before you signed on, we were talking about that, and I signed up with Cambly, which doesn't require the TEFLA certification. because it's not expensive to do it, but it takes a little bit of time to do it. The pay is higher, I know that, but yeah. So I'm going to be trying the Cambly, where I teach people English, and I just started this like 2 days ago, so we'll see. Hopefully it'll supplement my income. If not, I'll split and I'll go home and home. This is my home. I got to get out of that mindset, and I am out of that mindset, but it's just, kind of natural to fall off your tongue. But I got to go back to the States probably and do another 3 rounds of torture and then be done with it. So, but yeah, I'm going on Elvis. How what we were talking about before was I'm going to be going on Every Man Has a Story, and he's going to interview me this coming Thursday or Friday. I'm going to Dumageddon on Thursday, and just depending on his schedule when he can fit me in, he's going to interview me, and so I got the idea to do the online teaching from him. Yeah, exactly. 3 to 6 months is what I read also. So I can get started right away with the Cambly. So that's why I went with it. It's lower pay though than the other ones. People who have the TEFLA, that certificate carries more weight, and so they get a little bit better rate. But with the Cambly, it's $10 an hour, which sucks. But here, it can supplement. And my goal is to somehow figure out how to make YouTube make me money. So between the two, I don't need to make a ton of money on YouTube, but between YouTube and maybe some online gig or something like that. Yeah. Mark Thornton. Yeah, exactly. And that's what, I don't know. He's got the niche. I don't have a niche. I'm just, some dork on here that's just saying stuff off the top of his head. How far is Duma from Cebu? Well, it's on the bus. It's about 4 hours, depending on traffic and the loading of the ferry. So you take a bus from Cebu City to the end of the island. I forget the name of the little town there, where there's a harbor, a port, and then you from there you hop on the ferry and it takes you across to Dumageddon. So it says online total round trip 4 hours. It'll be our first time doing it, so I'm not really sure exactly. Probably will be 4.5, maybe 5 hours. I don't know. But I already rented a hotel there and stuff. Got a good deal. Hopefully it's not a terrible hotel. Didn't talk to anybody about it. I just picked one. Had like 4.5 stars. But so I'm gonna video all that and make a video and post that as I go. And even when he interviews me, I'm going to be filming us and doing my own kind of thing with it. So yeah, it'll be fun, Elvis. Sorry, Majo asks, how long after the interview does he post to YouTube? I don't know. I would imagine, pretty quickly. But I don't know 100%. And as the days unfold, after I do it, I'll know more. After I do the interview, I'll ask that, and he'll tell me, and I'll let you know. But and then Elvis said, that'll be fun and good for your channel. Hopefully, if I don't act like a dork or something, and have interesting things to say. Like, I've watched his channel for a while, and a lot of these guys on there, they have a pretty fun and exciting past, and mine is relatively boring, and so I don't know how how I'll represent myself, but it'll be fun at least. And I think still, any exposure is good exposure, right? So I think it'll be interesting, and I probably will get, a few more subscribers from it at least. I mean, I went to that Sunshine Shoulders meet and greet, and just from that, because on YouTube you can look at your analytics, and from that video I got like 80 something subscribers. Then I made my meet and greet video from Sunshine Shoulders, and I did a live stream with him, and I got about 20. So just from that alone, I got like 100 subscribers. So if I get another 100 or even 20 from doing this, great. So JJ says send us the link when he releases it. Yeah, absolutely. I definitely will. I have you with my email too, so I'll send you something personal there. And then I can also post it on the community tab too. I don't know what it's called. Community board, community function on YouTube. So, but yeah, that I'm excited just to go to Doomageddon, because as my wife gets further along in her pregnancy, we probably won't be able to go hardly anywhere, I would imagine. Because, see, we don't want to live in Cebu forever. I mean, I love this area. As I showed on that walkthrough video, it's fantastic. Like, just the atmosphere that we live in right now it's like the province. Like, I've lived in the faraway province, and here we are 10 minutes outside of Cebu, and it reminds me exactly of the place that I lived in that had a population of like 10,000 people, So, let's see. Hi, NCW Fighter. NCW Fighter just signed on, and he asks, how long has she been pregnant? Well, she's 11 weeks. So she's 11 weeks pregnant. And so very early stages. And we tried to get an ultrasound today, but we ran into some kinks. But I think Monday or Tuesday we're going to do that. So, yeah, 11 weeks pregnant, NCW Fighter. And JJ Core says, you talk more realistic. Most of the YouTubers just talk what they think people want to hear. Well, I'm guilty of that too. When this thing has kind of like a catch-22. You want to be appealing to others. And of course you want to stay as authentic as you can be. But in those times when there's nothing going on, you post a video and you get like 80 views or something like that, and maybe you do it 2 or 3 times, like my last few videos have just tanked, But when you get that one that hits, like I did a video. It was funny because our first video that got 5,000 views plus, I didn't even edit it. My wife, she's like, I'm going to post this. And I'm like, no, you're not. I look terrible. I don't want to. You didn't edit it. Nothing. She's like, I'm just going to post it. And so she posted it. And it was one of our most successful videos. So I just never know what's going to stick. But in those in-between times when you're uploading things and they don't go well and you don't get views, your brain starts going, I need to do this, or I need to do that, and I need to say these things. And so you get kind of in that mode of, trying to be a talking head, I guess, trying to replicate your success from other videos, So, but mostly I do try to be authentic, and I do try to say the truth. But a lot of times the topic might not be necessarily something that I would gravitate towards saying, but I just think maybe other people might be interested in seeing it, whereas I might want to talk about something else. Elvis said that Mexican restaurant you go to looks good. Well, I tell you what, in the Philippines, at least here, and I know, I'm not really savvy with the expat community, but the guys that live in the IT parks and the condominiums and stuff, they have access to everything American and they pay for it. But me personally, when I lived in the States, I didn't want to pay double for ground beef, if I ate it, and mostly I wouldn't eat it. I'd like to eat, mostly like fish and veggie kind of diet. with the occasional steak. But then, of course, that all got shot in the foot when I started delivering food, because when I started delivering food, I started getting free food. I'd go to restaurants and they'd be like, "Hey, we made this plate. You want it?" I mean, and then the next restaurant, "Hey, we made this. You want it?" So I'd take it, and have all this free fatty restaurant food, and I gained like 30 pounds doing that in like 4 months. It's terrible. Anyways, so but no, the Mexican restaurant, it's pretty good. Like I haven't had any beef up until that point for like a long time. So I got the taco and the burrito and stuff, and it had the authentic kind of seasoning. It tasted like Mexican. The only thing is they don't have sour cream, which I mean, that's not a prerequisite, but they don't have salsa, which you would think that they would make at least some kind of version of salsa, but they don't. But as a whole, it's pretty good. I pour a lot of that sriracha sauce on it, and it gives it more of the kick of a Mexican place dish. So it's pretty good. But I'm sure in Cebu City there's even more authentic kind of stuff. So but it doesn't matter to me. I like to kind of stay local, and I don't want to pay like triple the price. So it's a fairly decent price. Like it's 179 pesos for a taco, but it's a huge taco. I mean, you can get one taco and that would be your meal, So 179, which is kind of expensive. If you think about it, it's like over $3. Ooh, right? But over $3, just a little bit over $3, and you're full from that one thing. So yeah, it's not bad, Elvis. It's okay. So JJ said, do you do like David Bond and Jasper? They offer a service where people pay and then call in for advice coming to the Philippines. Yeah, I've thought about doing that, but as with my subscriber count, it wouldn't be viable. And I don't really have people pounding me for information, so maybe as I progress down the line, I mean, I've heard like some of I went on Sunshine Shoulders live stream. And so I've he was like the first YouTuber that like took me, gave me a little bit of support, a big YouTuber, right? I mean, because, like Majo and Bernice and we all we're smaller YouTubers and we help each other out and support each other. But he really gave me a boost. And as he was saying, he gets contacted constantly by people asking for advice. And he gets emails after emails after emails, and he responds to them. But he gets bogged down by it, right? So so he's thought about doing that too. But it's a viable thing to do, And I met Alex from Living Abroad, and he recently kind of started doing something like that too. Alex is really cool also. I went to his meet and greet, and I didn't film that one, but he gave me a lot of good tips. So, and one of the things about one of the best tips Alex gave me was on the shorts. As a YouTuber, if you post too many shorts, then your long content will suffer, because YouTube's algorithm will pump your shorts, and they'll see you as a short channel, and they won't promote your long content as much. So the algorithm would be kicking it out. So yeah. But Alex sat down and talked to me for Alex talked to me for like over an hour, giving me tips. And the main thing is having a niche. You get your niche, and that way viewers they know what to count on. It's repetitive, so they know what your channel is all about, and they know what you're going to post and whatnot. So Hector came on. Hi, Hector. And he asks, do you have health insurance? No, I don't, Hector. I'm kind of a holistic kind of person, and I haven't seen a doctor since I was 26 or 7. I had a horticulture background where I would treat any kind of cold or flu or anything with my own medicines that I made, tinctures and veggies and other things that I grew in my own personal garden. So no, I don't have health insurance, and I'm hoping that I don't need it. But that's something we're all going to face as we age. But for right now, I don't have any, and maybe in the future I will. JJ says Calvin is a great guy. Yeah, he's really nice to me. And one thing that is important to me is when you meet somebody, when you shake their hand, they look you right in the eye. And Calvin did that. He shook my hand, a firm handshake, and he looked me right in the eye. He was very friendly. And then he took me, helped me out. He gave me a big boost. So there's a lot of stuff kicking around about him, in his own personal life that people, and I'm not going to go into that because I don't know anything about it. It's hearsay. But I know that me personally, Calvin was extremely nice to me, and he seemed, to be very helpful. As far as all this other stuff with the affair and all the other things that are being spoken about badly about him, I know nothing about it, and I don't even want to speak on it. But as far as I know, Calvin was really, really nice to me. So Keith came on here and he said, maybe if you want to make a fast gain subscriber, I have a suggestion. Maybe you will go to other place and visit there and film so some foreign will get information. Yeah. Well, Keith, I'm going to be going to Dumaguete this Thursday. So that'll kind of fit into what you're saying. I'm going to ride the bus from Cebu City to Dumaguete, and I'll be vlogging that. And when I get to Dumaguete, Dumaguete is so full of vloggers that it's kind of overexposed. But everybody has their own unique audience, and some people watch many channels, and some people just watch only 1 or 2 channels. So maybe it'll be interesting to the ones that do watch me. We'll see. But I just keep doing what I do, keep uploading things and seeing what works. We'll see. I'm for me, it passes the time. It gives me something to do, and I enjoy it. Otherwise I probably would get kind of bored here, because as foreigners, especially tucked back away where I am, there's not, unless you go to events, like there's some foreigners in my neighborhood, they get together once a week, and all they do is drink and complain. So I don't like to be around that, so I don't go there. But you can, when you're settling in to live and you're not just a traveling tourist, it's day-to-day life. So after the freshness of being in a different place, and those things kind of wear off a little bit, then the monotony can start to kick in. And unless you're going and doing, you can get kind of bored. And that's one thing that a lot of people will complain about, is they have no social life, they don't have friends. There are foreigners, and you can make friends with them. You're probably not going to make too many friends with local people that you can hang out with and stuff. But it all depends on the individual and the situation. Keith says maybe you go to unpopular places, because unpopular places have a nice tourism places to visit. But Dumaguete is so cool. I've been there, and it's really cool. Yeah, man, I'm really looking forward to it. I haven't been there before, so it should be really fun. I'm excited to go, and so I'm going to be leaving on Thursday, but I'm only staying for 2 days, 2.5 days, and then coming back. So I'm looking forward to it. Of course, it's going to be a blast. This is, I've looked at the videos there and seen pictures, and it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. So I'm excited. I'm excited to go there. It should be great. So yeah, should be awesome. So but Dumageddon is where a lot of vloggers are. Lots of vloggers. World Zoom, and every man has a story, and what's the other dude with like 70 something? There's a lot of big bloggers there, so it has a lot of exposure. So maybe somewhere smaller might be better to go to for as far as content that people will like. But I think a lot of people that follow me aren't really interested in seeing that kind of stuff. But we'll see. Oh, well, I'm just going for 2 days. Keith asks, when are you coming back to Abao? I'm only going to Dumageddon for 2.5 days, and then I'll be back here. JJ says, then you can tell us what you think of Dumageddon and tell us your opinion on where is nicer to live. Sure, yeah, I can definitely do that. I don't know how much recon I can do as far as like prices and whatnot. To compare as far as price wise and stuff. But I can definitely, walk around and see as far as, the vibe and the feel. And me personally, I like to live places where there aren't a lot of foreigners. And I know Cebu, that's one thing that I've been kind of disappointed in, is there are a lot of foreigners here. And I know Dumageddon would be the same. So, but for some people, that's what they want. They want to have a social life and an outlet with other foreigners that they can speak language with and whatnot. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna do some analyzation. I'm gonna take video and be posting that up there too. So definitely, JJ, I will try my best to give a good opinion on it for sure. So Elvis asks, have you considered Mindanao for travel? Oh yeah, I've definitely considered that. My wife was born in Mindanao. She lived there until she was about 12, I think. But her farm was located in the bad part of Mindanao where the rebels were. And back then it was even worse, I think. And they would come to her farm and they would demand that they gave rice and whatever crop they were growing and chickens and eggs and all kinds of stuff. And sometimes the bombings would be so bad and the fighting that her family couldn't even stay in the house because the bombs were like landing on their property and bullets and things. So they'd hide in the jungle. So eventually her mother got sick of it and moved them here, but she still has family in Mindanao. So we've thought about going back there and visiting. In fact, there's a guy who invited me to go to Mindanao because he's like one of the only vloggers there in his area, and he wanted to interview me. He's not like a huge channel, but he was inviting me to come. So it kind of boosts my channel and boosts his too at the same time. But yeah, I definitely thought about going to Mindanao. I'm not afraid of anything like that, terrorists or any of that crap that people, say don't go to Mindanao for, that's not inhibiting me. Just right now, it's the travel to there. My wife doesn't have proper ID. I was talking about that earlier, but we have run into hoops for that. So if you want to go on a plane, she needs the right things. When we did the marriage license when I first got here, they kind of just let a few things slide. So maybe they would do that with the plane ticket too. But as far as, not having any worry about that, she applied for her national ID like a year ago and they still haven't gotten it to her. So now that we're married, since we got married, she can get a new ID, but she'll have to reapply for it in her new married name. So it's kind of a hang up as far as going there. We thought about bypassing the plane and just taking a boat or something, but man, that's a long long trip at sea. So I don't know if we can figure it out, a smooth way to do it. Ideally, just to fly, because it's not expensive. But her idea is kind of hanging us up on doing long trips. Like I'd like to go to Luzon, but it all depends on her ID. And Hector says, if Filipinos per capita income is very low, why is Jollibee always full? Isn't it expensive relative to people's income, or is the middle class growing? Good question, Hector. I would say for sure that the middle class is growing, and you can look at statistically. That's a fact. The middle class has grown significantly, and also too, Jollibee is an event, so people are saving for that. And sometimes they're not responsible with their money too. They get their pay, and they'll go blow it on Jollibee, and then sacrifice, the next couple of days or something. But mostly when I go to Jollibee, it's you can tell that a lot of the people that frequent it, are a little bit well-to-do, at least here. But I would say that, you're seeing kind of a mix of people who have money and people, Hector, that, are getting their salary and they're probably not being very responsible. And it's just like a treat to them, But Jollibee is so popular that, everybody wants to do it. And when they're there and they sit down, they're, taking the pictures of their food. And it's a social media event for them, too, a lot of times. So, but yes, I think the middle class has grown significantly. I read about statistics on that, from 10 years back to today, and things have improved a lot. Minimum wages went up in a lot of the bigger cities, and it's becoming more fair. So, yeah. But that's not to say that, in some of the areas, minimum wage isn't necessarily adhered to. So, and even, here, it's not necessarily adhered to either. But, if you're working for a company or something like that, then, of course, they're going to have to stick to the rules. Well, I say of course, but hopefully, right? And JJ said the weather and the atmosphere. Yeah, definitely. I will be posting about the weather and the atmosphere. We're in the rainy season now, which to me is, not that different. I mean, it hasn't rained here for 3 days, and it's the rainy season. So, scratch that. I think it's raining right now. But yeah, JJ, I'll definitely be showing all that kind of stuff and telling my opinion on it. But just spending a couple days there, I don't know how valid my opinions will be. You kind of really have to stay for a long time. But as a surface kind of opinion, I definitely will relay that to you guys. So Keith says, I've seen a famous forum blogger. His name is Luke Doment. He went in Asturias and hung out, but I don't really know if he was vlogging in that day. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever comes my way, I will definitely be trying. And, just depends on what the future brings for me and how more free I'm able to do it. We get my wife's ID, then we can travel, on an airplane, get her passport, and we'll experience a lot more stuff. So Hector says, holistic medicine or natural remedies in the fields sounds like a good niche. Yeah, I mean, for sure, but yeah. Medicine or natural remedies in the fields sounds like a good niche. And there are a lot of, you go to a mall. I go to Gusano here in Mactan Island where I re-up on my immigration and I pick up money from. And any mall, really. And they will come up to you and they'll want you to try their product. And they're always saying it's all organic. It's natural herb medicine, So there is a lot of that. But then you look at the ingredients and it's all real questionable. So as far as it actually being holistic and natural, it's just kind of a label thing. Now, the stuff that I would do, would just be, well, and I can't do it from here. I wanted to grow because I love to garden. I've always grown my own vegetables. I've always grown my own herbs and medicines and things. But the sun doesn't hit my balcony, and I don't have any land to plant in. So moving forward, that is a prerequisite of wherever I go, is I need to have a place that has a plot where I can grow my my needs. So, and that's the goal. I mean, if you can grow your own food and raise your own meats and get eggs, from your own chickens, that saves you so much money. And if you do it in the right way, feeding the animals isn't as expensive as a lot of people make it out to be. There's ways to do it, kind of a circular farm, so it's definitely something that I'm looking forward to, and but right now I'm unable to do kind of my hobby, which is to garden and to grow. So but it'll come with time. It's a trade-off. I don't care. I love it here, and that's not something that's going to cause me any kind of strife or anything. So Saturn said Alex Kosh, a Duma vlogger, visited Marawi City in Mindanao and had to escape a car following him. It's definitely got its cities to avoid. Yeah, I mean, for sure. Postal ID. Hold on. So I didn't see that video. I've seen videos where they title it. Yeah, I went to the scariest city on Mindanao where they say not to go to, and nothing happened. But that sounds kind of exciting. I'll have to check that one out. Marawi. Okay, yeah, I'll look for that, Saturn, because that should be interesting. Yeah, I mean, back 10 years ago, it was no joke. If you went to those wrong areas in Mindanao, you would be, you put yourself at risk. And it sounds like, according to Saturn here, that's still, there's still truth to that. So Elvis says, but anyway, Saturn, thanks for that. I'll look that up later. Elvis says your wife can use a postal ID for travel. To buy a plane ticket? I don't know if she has a postal ID. Her ID's right here. She's got some IDs, but I know that we had a... Oops. Let's see here. Department of Finance. What is this? Well, that's her tax ID. And then she's got voters. So she's got tax ID and voters. That's it. So, but now her name's different. So, but they wouldn't know her different name. So, but yeah. But yeah, we're gonna be definitely traveling around more. But see, now we have the baby coming, and so we either have to get that, get some of that in before she gets too far along, or we have to wait until afterwards. But yes, that's the only two IDs she has. So I forget where we went. I mean, we've had to do a lot of things. We were trying to get a bank account for her, so I want to put a bank account in her name also, and her ID was insufficient, so we have to go to the what is it? My mind just went blank. Well, Bureau of Investigation kind of thing, where she gets her background check and stuff, so she has to pass that clearance. Yeah. So let's see here. So, eventually when we get all those things figured out, then we're going to fly around and go see stuff. So Saturn says, I have no problem with Davao City, but the rest of the island, you really need to look into the safety before going. I got invited to go to a town. This guy on Randy Bryant's channel was really encouraging me to go and vlog from there. And he said that there's two famous vloggers that live there. And I looked it up, and it's in the heart of, the Warning area. And I'm like, ooh, I think I'll just avoid that one. And I even told him, nah, no, I don't think I'm going to go there. And he's like, it's fine, no problem. I'm like, well, you're Filipino, and I'm white, blue eyes, 6'2.5". And if I have shoes on, I'm practically 6'3". So I stick out like a sore thumb. But he said, oh, no, don't be afraid. But I agree. There's areas that I probably wouldn't want to go to, but I might do it because I'm kind of a rebel. But I don't know. I'd be the guy that did get kidnapped, so probably best to avoid it. JJ says Philippine ground is so fertile you can plant a plastic carrot and it will grow. Yeah, in a lot of areas, I know that in some areas there's a lot of the soil is real hard, like it's got too much calcium and stuff in it. So, like I lived in Guam, and the Guam soil in some of those areas is similar to some of these coastal areas in the Philippines, and you have to amend the soil with a lot of things. But I've been doing that kind of stuff since I was a kid, so it wouldn't be hard, if I didn't move into one of those areas that had the prime soil, then I could amend it, real simply. And I know I make my own compost and do all those things. When you have everything at your disposal, I mean, seashells to grind up and you name it, yes. The opportunity to grow good veggies and healthy stuff is abundant here. So I'm looking forward to it. I can't do it here. I mean, I can grow like a vertical. If there was enough sun outside here on my balcony, I could grow cucumbers vertically. And you don't have to grow in the ground. You can grow with trellises. I've done that, many times too, in apartments and things that I lived at when I was younger. But there's just not sun here. Not enough sun in my location. So can't do it yet. But when I get to that place, JJ, I'll definitely be planting a lot of stuff. So Hector says there seems to be a growing trend for Mexican food among the locals. There's a hole-in-the-wall place in Baclaran, I think, that serves birria-style tacos, and the line goes around the block. Wow. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't surprise me because, I mean, and really I'm surprised that there aren't more Mexican food places in the Philippines. A lot of since the Spanish people were here years and years ago before, like Lapu-Lapu, and they got into that war and stuff. But the Spanish, came here and kind of took over for a while. It seems like a lot of those foods would have kind of permeated the culture, and some of them did and still are. But yeah, I mean, it's just Mexican food is good. So it doesn't surprise me that it's catching on. Especially, I don't know where Baclaran is necessarily. If there's, a lot of foreigners there, especially, they would gravitate towards that. But even, if it's affordable and the Filipinos catch on to it, they're going to love those flavors too and want to go there. So yeah, I mean, Mexican is a excellent cuisine and a lot of people love it. I'm surprised that there aren't beans and rice here, like in Mexico, beans and rice, like pinto beans and whatnot. But I don't see it. But yeah, Mexican will probably be becoming even more popular here, Hector. I would think so. So JJ says, you're so blessed. We call it people with green hands. I mean, you can plant anything and it will grow. It's actually a talent. Well, thank you. I started pretty young. My first plant, my dad actually bought a plant called a Dieffenbachia, and you see them everywhere here. But we lived in a very cold region of Washington State. And it's a tropical plant. And so my dad was having all kinds of trouble growing it. And I think I was like 7 or 8. And I remember it. It was such a big word, but he would call it his Diefenbachia plan. It's not doing good. So I went to the library at school and I got a book and I just started reading about how to care for, this Diefenbachia plant. So that was my first plant. And then the Sansevieria, which you see here. So the Sansevieria and the Diefenbachia are two, they call it the snake plant here, the Sansevieria, but they're everywhere. And so those were my first it was a Diefenbachia and then it was the Sansevieria. So I started growing those and I just fell in love with it. I fell in love with growing and it's just stuck with me ever since. So yeah, I love to grow and here's my famous saying, okay? If you can't grow it, it must be mined, all right? So you need to either farm the land or you either need to mine it. That's my primary philosophy. So if you can't grow it, it must be mined. And the earth has given us resources. There are ways that you can mine. I know mining has a huge stigma against it, but you can mine in a self-sustaining way. You don't have to rape the earth and tear it apart and use mercury and do all these things. You can actually do reclamation projects after you mine and not hurt and even reinvent the area, depending on what it's like. If you're coming in there and you're knocking down acres of trees or something, well, then, that's that's a different kind of situation. But I do small-scale mining. So, yeah. So if you can grow it, it must be mined. That's how I've lived my philosophy. That's how I've lived my life in my 30s to now. So Hector says, you can lease land too for your farm. My uncle leases land for his quail egg business. Oh, fantastic, Hector. That's great. And hopefully his quail egg business is thriving. I know that quail eggs are awesome. They taste so good. And I've looked into doing that, but for now I'm not gonna. As I move forward and get more settled into a place, then I will definitely consider doing something like that, Hector, for sure. JJ Core said, I tried planting tomatoes and potatoes. What I got to harvest was mini tomatoes and potatoes. I'm not good with vegetables. Oh man, I can give you all kinds of tips I can grow tomatoes in a bag, bro. Potatoes. I can grow potatoes in a garbage bag. I can. And it's just patience, man. And you just do the right things with the soil. And, once you do the right things with them, you just leave them alone. You don't have to touch them. You put enough. I make super soils. So there's microbes. There's all the vitamins in it. So you never have to add any fertilizers or anything else. It's just all organic, from manure to the calcium to the fish. I use fish emulsion or actually burying a fish in the soil or chopping it up. As it breaks down, it releases all the nutrients to it. But I make a super soil and I put it in a bag, like a garbage bag or something like that. Not my preferred method to do it, but if I was doing it right here, I would definitely do it that way. And yeah, you can grow. You can do it. I know you can do it. Mr. Martin, he asks, do you speak Bisaya or Tagalog? Hindi. I don't speak very well of either. What I try to do is I try to learn one word here and there and add it to my vocabulary, but it's not sticking in my brain. Today and yesterday, I was trying to learn what is your name in Bisaya. But every time I go to try to say it, I can't remember what it is. So I'm not very good at it. I can say things like good morning, good evening, good afternoon in Bisaya. I can say, naglakaw for walking, and it's slowly progressing, but very slow. If I focused on it more, I would learn more. But as of right now, Martin, not very much and not very well. JJ says, we'll come for training by you. Hey, Anytime, bro. I'll pass on my tips. Hector says, is hydroponics viable there? Hydroponics is viable anywhere, but as far as, I think maybe if you ordered, I know it'd be, it might be hard to get the supplies, but you can DIY stuff. I worked for a vegetable, well, I worked for a place that grew their plants primarily hydroponic, and I'd never grown hydroponic before, so I had to quickly learn how to do it. So I don't know as far as the gear being available, but all you need are some air pumps and some tubes and things, and reservoirs, and you can do hydroponics here. But as far as is all the equipment readily available? I don't know. Maybe it might be, but I haven't looked into it. But I know if you're an industrious kind of fellow, you could piece that all together on your own, and it would be a heck of a lot cheaper. So, but hydroponics is a good way to go. For me, though, you get phenomenal yields with it. But you have to look in there. Okay. With hydroponics, you have to use a lot of synthetic nutrients. And I'm not a fan of that. If I'm going to be eating the veggies, I want it to be as natural as possible. And hydroponics, you can buy organic nutrients in a bottle that say organic, but how organic is it really? When it's got chemical, like salt-based. Most hydroponics are salt-based nutrients, and I don't dig it, but I can do it. A good way to grow when you don't have access to good weather. Well, Cubby Bear came on and he asked, what is a good way to grow when you don't have access to good weather? Well, supplemental lighting. And then, you're looking, but are you talking about like rain and things, or are you talking about the sun, the lighting? If you don't have good sun, well, then of course you're going to have to supplement with some other form of light. And then you have to factor in your electricity costs at that point. But if you're talking about like a place where it's really windy or rainy, but you have good sunlight, well, then of course you need to erect a greenhouse. And you can erect a greenhouse relatively cheap. All it takes is some plastic, some clear plastic to put around, and some posts and things, and do it that way. But it just depends on what your negative factors are. If it's the lighting, then it's going to be more expensive to supplement for that. But if it's the weather, as far as rain and wind and whatnot, well, then you're going to need a greenhouse. Yeah. So good question, Cubby. Hector says, Lazada sells some small scale hydroponic kits. Perhaps you can create your own sauce to feed the plants. Yes. And it's not my preferred method of growing, so I know I don't know much about. I know guys that make their own kind of soups and sauces, like you referred to it as a sauce. So it. I know there are methods to do more kind of green or healthier nutrients to your hydroponic system, but then hydroponics is so dependent on pH levels and algae and whatnot. The more organic you go, the more issues you're going to have with your reservoirs and keeping them clean and your filters clean and whatnot. There are tons of ways to do it. I'm just not super well versed in it. But yeah, a little bit of reading and I could probably get on up with that for sure. Hector. So Cubby Bear says you pretty much answered my question. Thank you. Well, you're welcome. I hope that helped. Yeah, I've done all those things. I've done hydroponics less, but I have done them. I've done greenhouses, especially like where I'm from in the Northwest. Once the rain starts kicking in, and if you've got corn and other things going as you get into October and stuff, and it's still has time to go, you got to put that greenhouse up in September just to protect it so it can finish its cycle. So sometimes it's an absolute necessity. But here with the weather cycles, you pretty much have, sun unless you're in a really, really rainy area. I would think that, well, you don't have to worry about the temperature, the cold. Although, people have difficulty growing. That's actually true. People have difficulty kind of growing the right potatoes here because potatoes do like it a little bit colder, but it can be done. People are doing it for sure. Yeah, I love to grow. And I'm really looking forward to being able to grow. Now, one thing that I'm going to do that I will do, and don't call me a softie or whatever, but if I raise chickens or pigs or something like that, I'm going to have a hard time killing them. It's true. I don't know if I can. Like, she says that she can, no problem. And I know that's part of it. So I will have to do it, but I won't be a fan of it because I know I'll bond with those chickens, man. I have those little chickens running around, and I'll be feeding them, and they'll be free ranging, and I'll probably name them and all this crap. And next thing you know, I'll have to kill them. So that will suck. But JJ says, when you come back from USA and look for a place to settle, it will be nice to find a place with the water stream and use for hydroelectric to make your own power to use for your garden. Yeah, that would be phenomenal. However, I don't know if I'm going back to the United States. I'm going to try to not have to do that. So, but if I did, it would really give me a boost to be able to do awesome things like that, for sure. But yeah, and you can get that's what's phenomenal about the internet. You can get all that information, how to do all that stuff, because I don't really know how to do that, but I know that I could figure it out just by talking to the right people online, reading about it, watching videos on YouTube. I don't know how many cars I've fixed, just going and watching a YouTube video, whereas I'm not a mechanic, but I've went on YouTube and watched things and fixed my own car just from watching some dude who posted a video. So that's what's phenomenal about the internet is all the information is there. It's like Elon Musk says, you don't even need college anymore. You have your device in your hand, and that's the ticket to the whole world. You can learn everything you want to learn on your cell phone, for example. So that's phenomenal. So, I hope that I don't have to do that, go back and then come. But if I do, I do, right? But yeah, if I found a place with water and a stream, I wouldn't just be doing hydroelectric, that's for sure. I'd be doing other things also. I know a guy that's up in Luzon that's doing something right now that's enticing. And he was talking to me about it, and then he stopped. But I know he's still doing it. And when they stop talking to you, that's when you know something got good. You know what I'm saying? But I do have a lot of gear back in the States. I have metal detectors and things that I didn't bring with me this time. So it would be nice to go get that and bring it back here for sure. Yeah. But, like Hector said, Lazada has almost everything that you could ever wish for. And I heard, or I didn't hear, but the Amazon, the world conglomerate, is now delivering to the Philippines. So for those harder to find products, you can get them directly from Amazon too. JJ said, did you watch the video I sent on the timeliness? Oh, was that the one you just sent? Because I hadn't been to my email until this afternoon and I saw one, but we were just leaving. I saw an email from you. So I didn't watch it. I watched that one that you sent on the other subject. I'm slowly getting through it because it's 5 hours long, but I'm working on it. But I didn't watch this most recent one that you sent. So welcome to my island retreat, just logged on saying hello from Reno, Nevada. Well, hello. I went to Reno, Nevada quite a bit when I was younger. I passed through there when I would go mining in Nevada. And even stayed in Circus a couple of times. And when we were kids, we went to Reno, Nevada. So how you doing? Welcome to my island retreat. A good XR gun to test product run around 65K. I don't know, my brother. Sure. But 65K is probably out of my price range for sure. But welcome to my island retreat, says Lake Tahoe, most beautiful lake. Hey, for sure. I just driven by it. I never went there for recreation or anything, but Nevada is gorgeous. I like that whole region, Nevada, Arizona. It's all really good. You missed my question. Sorry, Elvis. Let me go back. Let's see here. What does it say? Scrolling up. Oh. Well, all it says is your wife can use postal ID for travel. That's what I got from you, Elvis. And then I showed you the IDs. I don't see. Yeah, there's nothing else. Well, sorry, Elvis, if I missed it. Ask again, because I only see the one where you said she can travel with a postal ID. And then I showed how she only has 2 IDs. These ones. So feel free to ask it again. Sorry, bro, I didn't mean to miss it. Whatever it was, it either didn't show up or I'm not seeing it for some reason. So you're working today, Mr. Island Retreat. Was curious on what is required to rent a scooter as an expat. Do they require an American license or a credit card? Okay. No. You can use your foreign license for up to 3 months, and then you have to get a Philippines license. As far as renting one, I have a line on a guy who's an expat here. He has a scooter and motorcycle rental business, and he's really affordable. All you do is give him a photocopy of your passport. And depending on what kind of bike you rent from him, it can be anywhere from $2,200 to up. So the question was about, have you seen any signs of jeepneys getting phased out? Oh, weird. I didn't even see that. Didn't show. So just let me finish up with this scooter question. So, and then I'll answer you, Elvis. So, no, you pay you give them a copy of your passport and you pay $2,200 for a small 125cc, upwards of 3,000-4,000 depending on what kind of or they rent it by the size. So whatever size bike you get will depend on the price. So have you seen any signs of the jeepneys getting phased out? No, but I know that the licensing for them is becoming more stringent, and they keep pushing the deadline. That's what I've seen. So the jeepneys aren't necessarily going to get phased out. What I've read and talked to people about is the jeepneys still have a shot, but they have to join a corporation. So they will no longer be small businessmen anymore. They will work for someone. And then there'll be more hoops to jump through. I do see a lot more of the Sungkong buses, the more fuel efficient ones. And so eventually they are going to see their demise, but I don't think it's going to happen for a while. I mean, the jeepney is a staple here. There's a lot of people making their living off of them, and it's going to take time for them to phase it out. And they keep pushing the deadline. So first I saw one that was like for September. Then the last one I saw, the deadline got moved to like December. So, they're going to be here for a while. So JJ said, and sorry, Elvis, that I missed that. I definitely didn't see that. JJ says 65K is what I get wholesale directly from developers. They're here in SA. Doesn't matter where you buy it. Come here, and it's exported all over the world. Well, I don't know. That's like a house to me, brother. So I got property in the States that's worth a lot more than that. But as far as any investments I make here, you can get a 65K is like 3 million. So I'm going to be throwing my cash towards property as opposed to a big purchase like that. So welcome to my island retreat. Said, I can't imagine the driving test with the craziness on the roads. Well, when I got a license here before, they didn't test me. I just showed them my American license, and I got a local license. So, of course, that was in a very small town, but I don't know about the testing, to be honest. But it seems to me you can probably bypass that in ways. I'm sorry, I don't know about that because I haven't gotten my Philippines license yet. What is the average scooter rental per day for a 125cc? Per day? I think I want to say like about 300 per day. When we rented that first one, we paid 6 days, and they gave us the 7th day free if we got it for a week, and the total price was $22. So, no, I think it was $250. $250 a day was that price. The expat guy that I know, he charges more. I think it's $300 a day. So, and that's for the 125cc because that's what we got too. But like I said, it goes up if you get a bigger bike. So let's see here. Welcome to my island retreat. Ask me, were you ever concerned about protecting your passport, license, and cash while out and about? No. I mean, when I first came here, I went to a lot of forums and they put the fear of God into me. So I was fearful of that at first, but I never carried my passport. It's never asked for. So I don't carry it. License and cash, like if you're driving and stuff. No, I just have it, well, usually I put whatever IDs I need in my wife's purse because she always has her, bag. And we just carry everything that way. And when I was here before, I actually had a wallet that I would carry around, and they say, don't do that. But I did, and I never had a problem with it. Just depends on, if you're in a seedier area in Manila or something like that, or if it's late at night in the bad areas of Cebu, which I don't see them as bad. I mean, when you compare the bad areas here to Detroit or Chicago or Portland, even Portland, Oregon is a nightmare now, or Los Angeles. I don't feel that here. So I think that everybody says, oh, Philippines is dangerous. Oh, blah blah blah. What? Where are you from? Are you from like Nebraska, with a population of 20 or something? Then, it'd probably spook you. But otherwise, if you're, living in the States and you're in a bigger, larger city where there's meth heads and thieves and druggies and whatnot, that's scary. So no, I don't see it as a thing. But always use your wits and be smart about it. Don't flash cash. Don't wear flashy necklaces. Don't have an iPhone that you're, holding around and you're not paying attention to it. Those are the tips that people say. I walk around with a gimbal and my phone in it. If somebody wanted to, they could snatch it from me. I've been in bad places in Cebu with it. I've been in bad places, and I'm saying this in quotes, bad places, and I've never once had a fear of somebody snatching it from me. So, yeah. Welcome to my island retreat asks, I have heard that they do random checks on some roads. Are they checking for ID license? Not many people speak about the laws. We expats needs to learn fast. Yes. They do checkpoints quite frequently depending on where you are. And when I go out to the main road out here, I'm not driving right now. We just were renting scooters, and right now I'm in between. So I rent them occasionally when we want to do things and have more freedom. And if we get too bored, it's really nice to cruise around on one. So right now I'm not driving. But yes, out here on the main road, once a week, they will do a checkpoint. And they are checking for registration. So your car or motorcycle needs to be registered. For the motorcycle riders, they're looking for helmets, making sure you got a helmet. When you ride a motorcycle, you have to have long sleeves. You have to have pants, and you can't have open toes. So those are what they're checking for on the motorcycles. And in the cars, and license too. Depending on, especially if you're Filipino. If you're American, you can bypass those things as far as the license goes if you haven't been here very long. And in the car, they're going to be looking for registration and your driver's license for sure. Yes. And the checkpoints come frequently. Now, you always can see them in advance. You can see them, coming up, and the traffic will change. And that's like when the traffic gets bad out here. There's a checkpoint because all of a sudden, that gums up the works and people can't move as freely. So, but as you're approaching them, it's a good time to pull over and get some gas. It's a good time to pull over and go get a drink, and you can avoid all that. If you want to. If you're in a hurry and whatever, and you're good to go in all those fronts, then by all means go through the checkpoint. But they'll flag down who they want to check. You can go through a lot of it. A lot of times they're just targeting the motorcycles, but they do target the cars. So if you have your driver's license and your car's registered, and all the paperwork on your car is good, then you're good. Yeah. Is drunk driving a problem there? Well, I would say it can be. People love their alcohol, as you know, and there's a lot of partying, and they hop on their in their vehicle and they go for it. Hector. So, I mean, but you know the way that the way that people drive here, it's hard to tell if they're drunk anyways. So I wouldn't really be able to tell if they were drunk or if they were just driving Filipino style. I mean, this is why I don't want to drive a car. And a lot of people disagree, and they'd say they'd rather drive a car because they'd feel more protected. But as far as cars go, you know, in the States, everybody stays in their own lane. When you come to a stoplight here, you'll get like 30 motorcycles on one side of you, all weaving through the space in between the two lanes. And then on your other side, you'll have the same thing, right? So lanes here aren't adhered to like they are in the West. So when you're sandwiched in between a line of 30 motorcycles on one side, 30 motorcycles on the other, semi-truck in front of you, cars left and right, it is different. And I would probably, you know, when you're driving a car for so many years, you're in that kind of mode, you know, and you don't expect people to just cut right in front of you. Here, I mean, people, if there's inches to sneak into, they'll sneak into it. So if I were driving a car, I would probably mess up because I would see a guy coming and I'd be like, oh, he's not going to do that. And then he would do it. And I would be like, oh, no, you know. So next thing you know, I'm in a fender bender. So I like the motorcycles for the freedom, and I can hang back, I can cut through, you know, because I keep alert, I keep my eyes peeled, and for me, it's safer. Although statistically, people will say I'm absolutely wrong because statistically, motorcycles are the most common way foreigners die here. So, welcome to my island retreat. So sorry, Hector. I kind of combined yours in there with just the regular ways. But welcome to my island retreat. He said, I appreciate you, brother, for sharing your life and taking questions so late at night for us. God bless. Hey, you bet. And that's why I came on so late, because I know a lot of people in the States aren't on a different time schedule. So I know it's early in the morning there for you guys, right? Or what time is it in the States right now? It's 10 p.m.-ish here. Yeah, okay, yeah, morning time. Yeah. So I knew it would be early, but it would be better, you know, better than if I went on at like, you know, my dinner time. So yeah. 9 a.m. That's what I was shooting for, was to have it, you know, it's still pretty late for me time-wise, but I knew that at least that would give people in the States an opportunity to be able to come on. Definitely easier, JJ, to find parking with the motorcycle, for sure. And definitely easier and can be quicker to get to your destination, too. It's 6 p.m. in SA, huh? Whoa. So not too, you're like 4, well, I don't know what time it is right now. What time is it? Oh, it's midnight here. So you're actually 6 hours behind us where you are at, JJ. So it's 12 midnight here and 9 a.m. on the West Coast and 11 a.m. in the middle of the country. And Saturn says noon. So Saturn, you're on the East Coast then? It's 11 a.m. Elvis. Okay. Yeah. Midnight here, but I'm a night owl anyways. So no sweat. Welcome to my island retreat. Says you better remember which bike is yours. Yeah, you know, can get lost in the mix. But it's just like anything. You remember. And when I rented motorcycles, like we went to that big mall, SMC side, and they have a specific place to park motors, and there's thousands. I mean, I don't know how many, if there's thousands, but there's hundreds and hundreds of them. And I thought the same thing, how am I going to be able to find this again? But I found it, So maybe as you get older and your eyesight starts to fade or something, it'll be harder to do. But so far, I'm young enough, I guess, to be able to track it down, to retrace my steps. So Saturn is in New York City. Hey, New York City, huh? I don't know, man. That's kind of like Manila or something, isn't it? How's crime there? It's probably like really, really bad nowadays, huh? I mean, the West Coast is decimated. I mean, it's just terrible there. So I can't imagine. Just outside of NYC in Connecticut. Okay. Hector, you're on the West Coast. Nice. So we've got people in the West, in the middle, and the East. Fantastic. That's great. A mixed bag of foreigners. Y'all got to come here, man. Come here and get out of that rat race. Let's see here. Elvis. He says, how often do you make your trip to the market for foods? Well, I have a refrigerator. It's which brand is it? It's a Sharp refrigerator, so it's nice. And so I stock the freezer with fish and shrimp. Ooh. Oh, I guess my gimbal just pooped out on me. Oh, sorry about that. So I can still mount it. Okay. I didn't even notice my gimbal ran out of battery, but it's fine. So how often do I make the trip to the market for foods? So I stock my fridge up with the meats. We buy, the kilos of fish and the seafoods, and I buy chickens I don't like buying chickens from the wet market. I mean, sorry, I just don't like, there's so many flies, and I don't buy pork from there either. People do it, and if you're eating in a restaurant, that's probably what you're getting is the meat from those places. But it just serves my psyche a little bit better if I buy it from a place where there's refrigeration and no flies going everywhere. So I buy my chicken from a local butcher, and if we ever buy pork, which I don't like to eat, but she does, so we get a cut of it sometimes. And we buy it from, a butcher, and it's a retail outlet with closed windows and things. So there's, at least in my mind, it's more sanitary. So, but for the vegetables and things, we do buy a big supply of those. But I'd say, every 5 to 7 days we go to the market. Yeah. Depends, but it's every few days. And we usually buy more meat than we need. And so we'll just be going back, if we run out of some staple like garlic or ginger. I love garlic and ginger, and I put it in everything. So, if we run out of things, then we'll go. But it's usually every few days, probably 5 to 7 days. Because the veggies are they last pretty long, and the meat, I stock up pretty good on it. So, so that's about a ballpark kind of time frame, Elvis. So JJ said, I saw on the new scooters they have a location alarm beeping till you find it. That's handy, that'll especially help out an older guy who. Or even, in a big, huge mall, retrace your steps and you turn that on. There you go. That's what I would do anyways. If I went to a mall or somewhere with a big parking lot and I didn't remember where I parked my car, I just pushed the horn or the alarm. Dip, dip, and you'd hear the beep, beep, and I'd start heading towards it. So that's good. They should have those. That's a good feature. So, Welcome to my island retreat asks, how are Filipino Christian walk compared to America? You mean their religious life? Like, is that what you mean? Well, Philippines are predominantly Catholics. So Catholics are a little bit more open to certain things, but there's still a foundation. Like everywhere you go, if you get in a taxi, the Filipino's got his rosary read and the cross hanging. So the Christian lifestyle and the Catholic lifestyle is a huge. Hello, Big Johnson. I don't want to miss your question or your involvement here. Hello. Sorry. My gimbal died, so I got to be careful with the screen here. Hello, Big Johnson. So, Catholicism and Christianity is a big theme in the Philippines. You'll see it everywhere. So, it's accepted here. Definitely accepted here. Welcome to my island retreat. So Saturn said, you did a cost of living video a few months ago. So you're about $1,000 a month, right? Good question. Yeah, I think we were budgeting that for that video and we weren't really going and doing a lot of things and eating out and stuff. So I think we came out just under 900. But if we want to, we can blow that out of the water. I mean, if we take several taxis here and there and go out to dinner and et cetera, 1,000 can turn into like 11, 12, 13, 14. I don't think I've ever went as high as 15 though. But I think that it's definitely doable at 1K. However, 1K is going to be less desirable for certain people who want their creature comforts. So it can be done at that price, but like me, I don't have air conditioning. And air conditioning jacks up your electricity bill. I've debated getting one because right now, since I'm doing this live, I don't have the fan on or anything, and I'm sweating, really, really sweat. It's hot. It's midnight here, but it's still very humid and I'm hot. So I've been debating getting the aircon, but yes, I did do that video. We came out, I want to say like $889 for that month, but typically we're 1,000 or at least 1,100. And we don't even really do much, we're not living large or anything. We go out to eat sometimes, but, we're not spending a ton of money doing it. And I take the jeepneys a lot. We will take taxis if it's further along because the jeepneys, especially on a hot day, I take them. But when you've got, 25 people packed into there and that closes it in and there's no airflow on the jeepney and you're really hot, especially if you had to walk to it and you're already sweating, that can be kind of uncomfortable. So sometimes I won't take the jeepney, and if there's a taxi available, I'll hop on it because taxis are, to go from here to Lapu-Lapu, deep into Lapu-Lapu, it's like 120 pesos, and I tip, a little bit, so $2 or $3, as opposed to the 15 or probably 20 each on a jeepney. So I splurge a little bit on that, but yeah, I mean, you can do it on $1,000 a month, but you're not gonna have a lot of your comforts, and you're not going to be eating out much, and you're going to be more of a homebody, home cooking, things like that. Hector asks, but yeah, Saturn. So $1,000 a month is definitely doable. Some people do it for even less, but a real sweet spot would be 1,005. If you had 1,005, you'd be doing everything and not even, batting an eye. So, and you'd have air conditioning and everything. So 1,000 is doable, but the sweet spot is probably 1,005. So Hector asks, are veggies from wet market safe to eat raw after vigorous washing? I say yes. I mean, I don't know because I haven't tested them, and it's not like they do testing here on them. So I wash them and I go for it. I don't know if it's got pesticides on it or not, and that's kind of why I want to grow my own stuff, so I don't have to, have that unknown component. But I do it, and that's what everybody else is doing too. So I haven't noticed any foul flavors or anything like that. But I mean, wet market, grocery store, here it's all the same. There's really no, I mean, in the States, they have their, organic kind of stickers and things that they supposedly go through trials and their farms are tested and whatnot. Here, there's not, I don't think, much of that. I do know that I've heard people refer to pesticides here as medicine. So they say we used a lot of medicine on that, and unfortunately that means pesticides. So, but I mean, the organic market has been so corrupted in the United States anymore that they're allowed to use some forms of Roundup on it, and they can still get the organic certification. So, unfortunately, the best and only way to know what's on your veggies is if you grow it yourself. So if you can't grow it, must be mined. Yeah. So, welcome to my island retreat says yes. You're referring to, they're, as far as like people that are walking the narrow path, let's say that there are people, but it's mostly Catholicism. There are churches, and you can get involved in those communities and meet people through that avenue. It's depending on where you're at, it's difficult to find a church that speaks English, so that can be a stumbling block too. But I mean, the Philippines it's definitely moralistic place, and I mean, everywhere you go, you'll see pictures of Jesus on the trikes, pictures of Jesus on the jeepneys, people wearing crosses, and so yes, it's definitely a predominant theme in the culture. So my wife will convert to Christianity, says JJ Kors. I don't know if you mean you've already met a girl who's Catholic, but there are plenty of women who go to churches here that are like, Baptists and Assembly of God and Open Bible, the standard theology that you have. So, you can find both for sure. Obviously, the Catholicism will be the most prevalent religion that you'll encounter, but there are a lot of Christian churches, born again Christian churches, many. Yeah. Let's see. I didn't miss anything, did I? Yeah. I no longer have stability on my gimbal, so it's hard to scroll up. Oh, yeah, I got all that. Let's see here. Saturn 60 says, sorry. Welcome to my island retreat. We'll let some other people get in some questions. Thank you again. Hey, man, it's great. Please feel free to ask away. I mean, there's only 8 people in here, so I can juggle all the questions, so no sweat. I appreciate it. Keep the conversation going by all means. And, several of the people that are in the room right now are like-minded as you. So I'm sure they would love to hear the information. Welcome to my island retreat. And you're very welcome. Your questions and your input are appreciated. Thanks. Saturn 60. I want to move to the Philippines to get a fresh start in life. If I'm sweating all day and can't afford fun activities like island hopping, it's going to kill the vibe. Agree, I'll need 1.5. Yeah. I mean, for sure. Okay, JJ, thanks for stopping by and putting in some input. I appreciate your support. You too, and God bless. We'll talk to you later. Take care, brother. So, 1,500 would be a good number. I mean, you will have no worries at that. It depends on where you live, but I made a video recently. My apartment is $4,000 a month, and you can get a house right next door to me for $5,000. So, but to put aircon and do a whole house is gonna make your electricity bill rise. So, I would think that 1,005 would definitely be a good number for somebody who didn't want to sweat all day. I sweat quite a bit. Like I said, right now I am dying. I want to turn that. I keep looking at my fan right there. I want to turn it on so bad, but I won't be able to, it'll make too much noise. So, I mean, no matter what, I go outside, we walk. Like today, for example, we went out and we walked around for about 2 hours, and then we stopped in the Carinderia, which is an outdoor place. And being close to the burners and all the boiling and stuff that they were doing there, it just made it even hotter, and I was sweating bullets. So we came home, and I do what I always do. I go into the CR bathroom, and I throw water all over me, and then scrub and get all clean from the sweat. And then I go and park my butt right in front of the fan. And, if you're wet and you park your body in front of the fan, it cools you down really good. And sometimes you'll even get chilly. So, and once I get chilly, then I'm good for the rest of the day, pretty much. But yeah, I mean, if you know your comfort levels, see, that's the important part. If you come here and you're unhappy, you're going to hate it. So make sure that you know what you're getting into and you know your needs. So Saturn, you're already got, a leg up on a lot of people. They come here and they're shocked. They hear, I can do this on 1K. And then when they get here, they realize that 1K isn't quite cutting it, and they start being unhappy, and that infects the whole journey. So if you're requiring air conditioning, depending on the size of your place and where you're living, and you don't want to get hot like that, you want to have a place to cool off, definitely get that. Hector says, 3 months from now, there will be hundreds of viewers, and my question will drown amongst the hundreds of questions. Bye for now. Looking forward to the next one. Well, I hope that yours doesn't get drowned out, Hector. But I really appreciate the optimism, and thanks for stopping by and having some input into the conversation. Appreciate it. And I think I'm going to do this once a week. So I might do it on Saturdays so that it'd be your guys' Friday. Or wait. Maybe I should do it on Sundays so it's your guys' Saturday, so you're most likely off work. But I'll work out those kinks. And moving forward, I'm going to do this at least once a week. So thank you so much, bro. And take care. I'll see you next time. So I'm going to put in maybe, let's see here. Elvis says, your channel will definitely grow. Just keep doing what you're doing. Well, I hope so. I mean, that'd be great. As far as it goes for now, Elvis, it doesn't matter. I'm passing the time, If I wasn't talking to you guys right now, I would be scrolling through YouTube and I'd be clicking on the analytics and then I'd be going back and I'd be looking at other channels and I'd just be playing the YouTube game, So it's like become part of my life. So I know that I'm going to continue doing this for sure. Cause it's kind of fun and it passes the time, and I'm a numbers guy. So I like looking at the fluctuations and the views and all that stuff. So it keeps my mind stimulated. So I'll definitely be doing this as I move forward for sure. And, hopefully it will grow as I move along. And if not, then, oh well. It's not going to stop me. It's going to keep doing it. So appreciate it, though. I appreciate the optimism and the positive vibes. And, we'll see what the future holds. And, you've been with me, you and JJ and Majo and Bernice and all the people that were here earlier that signed off already. They've, been super supportive. You've been super supportive. So, I appreciate it all. It keeps it more vibrant, for me, having regulars and getting to know people and stuff. That's the great aspect of this. It really is. So I appreciate it. Definitely. Let's see. I'm going to see if I can't stand up here and grab something to drink because my throat is super dry. I want to see what's going on. Hey, gimbal is in action. I think it timed out because I've been on here 2 hours, 41 minutes. So I think my gimbal timed out from inactivity. So I'm going to stand up here and get some liquid because my Saturn says, are you comfortable doing street interviews with Filipinos and foreigners? That formula seems to be working well for Alex. I know Alex, definitely. And before I came to the Philippines, I was following Alex. When he was first, before I came to the Philippines this time, it was during COVID was just winding down, and I knew that I would. Sorry, I'm getting up to get something to drink because I'm dying. So let me find a spot here. So I had planned on doing something YouTube. And my wife and I even talked about it. When I get here, I'm going to start a YouTube channel. I said, let's do street interviews. And I would have done that. But we bought I'm not technologically savvy. So I didn't know all the gear that I needed. So I went on Lazada. First I went on YouTube and I watched videos to show me what I needed. Microphones was the primary thing. And it was my viewers that actually told me, dude, you need this, you need that. So, but they didn't tell me specifically what to get. They just said what I needed. They didn't say brands or anything like that. So I was at the mercy of, just going on Lazada and looking at things. So I went on Lazada and I knew I needed a microphone and I knew I needed gimbal. Because people were saying, dude, your videos are too shaky and we can't hear. So I got this. Well, I didn't get this. My first microphones I bought were the lapel kind that had Bluetooth. So like I said, I didn't know what to buy. So I bought those on Lazada. 2 different kinds. One of them stopped working. One of them didn't work. And one of them, I bought another one. So long story short, I kept buying gear that wasn't working for me. So it debilitated my ability to do interviews on the street because I tried and you couldn't hear the people. So that's why I just started doing what I was doing. I didn't really know what to do because that was my plan, was to do street interviews, and I was going to copy Alex. But now I've met Alex and I kind of feel like I don't want to copy him because that's his niche and he's in a phenomenal area. Yeah, Elvis. Elvis was like, I think you were the one that told me what I needed, a gimbal. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I didn't even know what a gimbal was until you told me. That's how naive I am to these things. I didn't have any clue what I needed until people like Elvis started telling me, dude, you need to get these things, because I had no idea. I really didn't. I was as green as they come. So then I got this, which I don't prefer, but back to Saturn. I have done street interviews with Filipinas, but not any foreigners. I haven't found foreigners, because where Alex is in close to the IT park, where there's a ton of foreigners. He hangs out at Ayala Mall, and that's the hotbed for everybody. All the foreigners, everybody goes there to shop and to hang out, the American restaurants and stuff. Here where I live, there are foreigners, but they're standoffish. I see foreigners in the mall over here at Gasano. If you watch my walkthrough Cordova video, I'll see a foreigner there every time, but it's just one dude, and it's hit or miss whether they want to talk to you. I think the people that live over here, they live over here to avoid other Americans or other foreigners. I really do. And you'll encounter that, because a lot of foreigners, especially the long-term ones, they're in bad way. And some of them are overstaying, and some of them are avoiding, and some of them are broke. And they're actually living off of their wives went and got jobs. And this is true. I mean, this happens. I know 3 people in this neighborhood that are broke, don't have their visas probably. And I don't know. I know one guy for sure doesn't. But, I don't know about that part. But I know that they don't have money, and their wives are currently working and supporting them. So hold on. Let me get this drink. But okay. Sorry about that. So, wait, technical difficulty. All right, let me get my water. So, yeah, Alex is a great guy. He's in a really good spot over there in Ayala. And I have done, like I said, I have done some interviews, Saturn. Check out if you didn't check it out, watch the one where I did asking Filipinos about aliens. That was really fun. I wore an alien mask, and people were looking at me like I was crazy, and maybe I am crazy. But I made this alien mask, painted it green and black eyes and everything, cut it out of cardboard, put it on my head, and I went to Lapu-Lapu. And I asked people if they what their opinion on aliens was. So I had this microphone, and I was like, "What do you think about aliens?" Oh, blah blah blah. And I did that. And then I also have another video where I asked Filipinos their opinions on Americans dating Filipina. And I've done a couple other things too, but hasn't been my focus. I don't have a niche like Alex does. He just kind of does one thing. And I know if you notice, if Alex strays away from that and he does advice videos, his views go way down on those videos. Whereas opposed to if he does a street interview, his views are through the roof. So, people a lot of people like to depend on what they're going to see. So they go to the channel and they know what to expect. Elvis says, I think a mix of different videos is best, not just one thing. That's what I do. I don't know if it's the greatest, but it's good to know that, some people do feel that way, because that's what I do. And I just do it because I don't really have like one thing that I can stick to be honest. If I did, and then, that's what happens with these YouTubers. Like I used to follow this one guy and gal, and I started following him because he was here and he was just living off the seat of his pants, and he didn't have income. He was like 39 or something, no income, no pension, no nothing. And he got a job in a call center, and he started doing YouTube as a side kind of thing to pass the time. And he did it for a long, long time, and he didn't have any he wasn't gaining any traction with it. And he got like 6,000 subscribers, and he got this one video that just blew him up. And he was just in the right place at the right time. And then he just started replicating that and doing those same things over and over. And now he's got like 60,000 subscribers. So that might happen, to me, and I might shift gears that way, but never know. But yeah, so right now, at least you're happy, Elvis, because I'm definitely all over the place with it. So Saturn said, wow, living off a Filipino girlfriend. Talk about a role reversed. That's probably a diet of 90% rice and water. It depends. The call centers can pay pretty good, and a lot of those guys, see, they blew their wad already. They bought the house, so that problem is already licked. Like, they don't have to worry about rent or anything. They just have to worry about the electricity and, like you said, the food. So Filipinos, they work hard and they don't like to struggle. So if if you get a Filipino that has that kind of leg up, she's going to want to keep it thriving and supporting it. So the one guy in particular that I know, his wife actually has a good job for Filipino standards, and they do okay. And he has his father-in-law lives there, and the father-in-law has had a sorry store for decades, and it's very slow, but they're not starving. So, but yes, it is a role reversal, isn't it? Let's see. Elvis says, have you had trouble or heard of others, expats, having trouble with getting sick from drinking street vendor food drinks like buko juice? Me, definitely. I'm a free flyer. I just go for it. And somebody asked me that. Like, I went and got jackfruit months ago, and it was great. And I didn't get sick or anything, but that changed. So yes, it happens. See, and this happened to me before too, in the past several times. So you definitely have to be careful with it. I mean, it would be fantastic if you could just go and get those things, but you're rolling the dice. I love fresh buko juice. I love it, but I don't get it anymore. I don't, unless it's in the mall from a place that I've tried before. And I tell you what, not to be gross, but I won't get that stuff at a new place. Like, if I've went to the place several times, I'll go back to it and I know it's good. But if I'm going to get it for the first time from an establishment, I wait until I'm on my way home. I know I'm going home because duty might call. You know what I'm saying? Because that go right through you. So not to be gross or too graphic, but yes, I have heard of it. It's happened to me. I've kind of learned to not do it so much with the timing. I'll risk it inside the mall I'll do a test run on it. I wait till I'm finished shopping and all that crap. And then I try it. And if it settles right with me, then I'll make sure to go back to that place. But yes, that is a deal. That's a thing for sure. Not just me, other expats too. Some people, I don't know if they have a stronger stomach or what, but when I lived here before for 2+ years, I never got over that. I got sick the first 6 weeks that I was here 10 years ago, and I wasn't like sick, but I just had stomach issues. Turned out I had Giardia, and it was from the water. So Giardia is hard to shake. Takes a little bit of time, but you will shake it. but yes, that's a problem, and I don't like it. It just makes your stomach queasy, you know. So anymore, I just avoid it. So let's see here. So that's my deal with the buku juice and the jackfruit juice and things. Unfortunately, I don't touch it anymore just because of what has happened to me. So, yeah. So Saturn asks or says, I think if you went to mainland Cebu City and did street interviews, it wouldn't be copying Alex unless you copied his same topics. True, but I mean, that's the topics. I mean, there's room for it. There's wiggle room for it. Without a doubt. But the topics are the same. I mean, you know, what else would you ask people? Foreigners, what do you think of the Philippines? What's your favorite things? You know, it would be similar, which is fine. And I probably would get a lot of subscribers that way. But I'd be like riding a little coattails. And I am kind of far away from there. So to go there on a regular basis wouldn't be, it's not hard. I could do it. You're right. And I've thought about it. I really have thought about it. But, you know, maybe I'd do a mix, like Elvis said, and still do advice things and do that also. But, you know, see what sticks. I'm still in the throw it at the wall idea and see what sticks to the wall kind of phase. You know, I've only been doing this for 4 months, so something will give, and I'll find my path eventually. But yeah, out here there's just not enough. James Stryker says, I never leave the house without packs of pocket tissues in my back pocket. The Philippines is not broke out with toilet paper. Yeah, no, that's one of my advice videos that I made, and that's something a lot of people don't talk about, is in the CRs here, they don't, in the CRs, which of course most of you guys already know that CR means bathroom or restroom. So in the CRs here, they don't have toilet paper. I mean, I actually saw some in Jollibee a while back, and I was surprised. But mostly you won't find any. So, and frankly, I mean, even in the States, I didn't want to use public restrooms for doing number 2, you know. So I'm not a fan of it. If I can hold it, I'll go home. But sometimes, you know, like I was in Manila. First time I went to Manila, I stopped at a Wendy's. And this has never happened to me before, and it never happened since. I ate the food, and immediately I had to do it. I had to, duty called. I ran to and it boom, right straight through me like a river. And there was no TP. I'm like, what do I do? You know, what do I do? And I didn't know what to do. Yeah, that was tough. So I had to leave the area, go out to the restaurant, get napkins, and then go back. And anyways, so yes, like I said in my advice video recently, a while back, make sure you carry around some toilet paper with you for emergencies. That's right, James. You got to do it, my brother. Elvis says, my favorite videos of yours are advice videos. Well, I mean, that's good because, you know, I got to say that some people out there are giving kind of cruddy advice, and advice should be subjective anyways. And people spout off on YouTube and they say, definitely. Wardy Boy says, Merry Christmas. Well, hey, Merry Christmas. But anyways, my favorite videos are advice videos. You know, you got to take everything with a grain of salt. Like, my experience in the Philippines is going to be vastly different from another person's Philippines experience. And like I said in that one video, at least I think I said, it's like a choose your own adventure novel from when you were a kid. Each person chooses different things at different points and different steps in the path. And as they're choosing one step, they can even try to replicate what another dude's doing, but their thought process is different. So their results are going to be different. So along the way, one person's experience is going to be vastly different from the other person's just because of the way they think and little tiny things that they went along the way. Like, I don't know how many people I've talked to that have told me that Cebu is overly priced and expensive and you can't find anything for under X amount. Well, I believe that. I did. And then I came here and I discovered that was absolutely wrong. But they'd lived here for years and that was their interpretation, because when you move somewhere, it's like anywhere in the States, you move somewhere and you learn it's new to you. So you learn where the best gas station is. You learn what grocery store has the best. They're not branching out into other parts of it. You're looking at your neighborhood and you're learning that. And so you get the sense in your own little bubble that's the way it is for the whole area. When in reality, that's just your little, specific area. But you think that it's universal for the surroundings, and a lot of times it's not. So any advice I give, factor that in, because you might come here and think, wow, I can get a place for $4K, and the areas you're looking at, you can't find it at all. Maybe you're finding them for $6 or $10 or whatever, and you're going, what is this dude talking about? That's just my approach led me to this. Other people's approaches will glean different results, varied results. But this Warty Boy dude said Merry Christmas after Elvis said, ouch, my favorite videos of yours are Vice videos. So yeah, Elvis, make sure that, you're a smart enough dude, that, especially some of the bigger advice channels that get a ton of views, and the comments and stuff. I've watched videos recently, even of people that I admire and have talked about in this live stream. I've watched videos of him, and he's a great guy, seemingly, but some of the things that he says, I absolutely agree with. Disagree with 100% categorically. Bad advice. But, that's his video. I'm not going to go there and slam it because it would just get me blocked or whatever. And but people are coming along and they're like, "Oh, thanks for the info, brother. You're right." And but it's not just Elvis. A lot of clickbait, indeed, but it's not just the clickbait. I mean, it's also a person who has gained so much confidence in himself from having a big following that he asserts his interpretation of the Philippines in a way that makes people think that he's the be all end all. Like, his voice carries more weight than others. And I can tell you that many of the people that I know, because on YouTube, it gives me analytics of what my viewers watch. So I know that you guys are watching a lot of these other guys, these bigger channels. And I flat out disagree with a lot of things that they say. I mean, they also have a lot of good things to say. Don't misconstrue, don't get me wrong. Definitely do, but not a day goes by that I don't watch a video from somebody else where I go, I don't agree with that. I'm serious. And it's not even a huge issue, but it's just that's their result from their unique approach. But there are many, many other approaches. Many. So what I get out of my walk through the Philippines is going to have variables. Even if somebody came along and they copied exactly what I did, their end result would be different. It would definitely be different. It might be similar, but it's not going to be the same. Because
everybody chooses their own adventure, and they have their own unique approach to things. Even if they're trying to replicate someone else, it'll still, their end result is going to be varied, you know? And even if they do exactly what so-and-so said to do, the people that so-and-so encountered are going to be different than the people that you encounter. So the way that they react to you is going to be different than the way they reacted to him. See what I'm saying? So there's too many variables in there that muddle up the results. But in general, you know, it's all pretty straightforward. The Philippines is a phenomenal place. It's easily navigated through, as long as you don't do really, really dumb things, and you keep your head on your shoulders, and you don't think with the wrong head, the little head dominating your big head. Make sure you don't do that junk, and you're going to be okay. You know, don't give your money out freely. Don't do silly things like buying houses for people and cars and things when you just met the person. Don't do things like that, and you're going to fare pretty well here. It's a safe country. The people in general are amazing. And as long as you, and I hate saying common sense. Everybody says use common sense. Well, how many people do we really know that have common sense, right? So it's a really, really tired and overly used phrase. So as long as you try to make the most wisest decisions, let's say that, then you're probably going to be okay. So Elvis says, I like that you go down a different path than other YouTubers, not trying to copy others. Well, I mean, we are all kind of saying the same thing, you know? So I don't know if I'm necessarily unique in that regard. I think it's just, like I said, it's the variable things. I say my experiences, because I've been here quite a bit. You know, I've spent a lot of time here, and I've known a lot of Filipinos. And in the States, when I went back, I was involved in Filipino culture every day. You know, so my experience can be a benefit to other people for sure. I don't necessarily know how unique it is, though. I don't necessarily think a lot of people are being very, very unique. But we all have our own select audience. So if we're repeating things, my audience might not have heard those things. And, you know, so you do what you can. I mean, what can you really do? A lot of it is tired, you know, like a lot of the bigger YouTubers that I was referring to earlier. They have, you know, many more videos than I, and they've said all these things that I'm saying. I'm sure of it. I haven't watched all their videos, but I'm sure. Because I mean, what more are you gonna say? You know, people always have the same concerns. The viewers always have the same concerns, and there's not that many variances in the whole process of coming to the Philippines. You know, you'll get some guys that will want to know about, you know, building houses and buying property and things like that. Though that's a little bit more rare, and I couldn't even really tell people about that stuff because I've never done it. I know that I could say don't enter into a condo that's not been built and pay in advance, because you're just paying some builder who might go bankrupt, and I've known people that didn't get their condo. So that's my only experience. So, you know, limited experiences in that regard. But as far as day-to-day things, immigration things, and dynamics with Filipinos and things, I know all about that stuff pretty well. But so does everybody else that does this. So, you know, what can you do? Just do what you do. Well, let's consider if anybody has any quick questions. We're only down to 2 people here. I've been on for 3 hours, 10 minutes. I'm thinking about signing off. So any further questions, or I'm going to let people go about their day. I know over in the States, it's practically lunchtime for some people. Brunch, lunch, something. So yeah, everybody have a blessed day. James just chimed in and said maybe you should get a drone. Yeah, I mean that would be phenomenal, but I'd probably end up crashing it into a tree. But I've definitely looked at them. They have some sweet ones at where was that? Wherever I got my gimbal, the DJI drone. It's fantastic looking, and I would love to get one of those, but later on in the future, my whole thing is if my channel grows larger, of course that might catapult it anyways, but I've spent the money on the gimbals and the microphones and the editing softwares and things like that, which, I'm still not good at editing. But as I move forward, I'm going to add to my technology and my gear. So Elvis, you have a great evening. Also, and thank you for your input and involvement. Always appreciated. Thank you, everybody, for watching this live stream. I think I'm going to end it now. It's getting pretty late here, and I've been on for 3 hours and 11 minutes. So thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Everybody, all the support and all the comments and everything that you guys do. I mean, I love comments. So make the comments on the videos. I don't care if you think it's irrelevant or anything. Make the comment. I love to reply to them. I love to respond. No question is too stupid. All questions are good. I appreciate everybody's involvement, everybody's input. Even if it's a negative comment, I love, to debate and talk to those people too. So thank you, everybody, for all your support and all your input. And hopefully you will stick with me as I evolve through this process and figure out what the heck I'm doing. All right. So everybody, God bless you. Have a great night. Thanks for checking me out. And stay tuned for, when I go to Doomageddon, I'll be getting interviewed by Everyman Has a Story. That's going to be, amazing. I'm going to vlog along the way, so that'll be fun. So that'll all be up and coming here in the next, I'm going on Thursday for the interview. Everyman Has a Story. And then, but I'll be posting my Doomageddon trip from Cebu to there sooner than that. Probably from the hotel. When I get to Doomageddon, I'll upload my first video after I edit it. So good night, everybody. Or actually, most of you are in the daytime. So have a good day, everybody. And God bless, and we'll see you soon.